Across the full Modern Warfare 2 offering, there's a handful of weapon blueprints that are available to earn that are positioned in the sort of rarest category of blueprints right now, exclusive to specific wings of the game, some you might not even know of. Today I want to run down all the earnable, free, and exclusive blueprints from Modern Warfare 2 that you can earn and let you know just how to get them in case any of these stand out to you in particular that you want. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What are these blueprints that you're liking the most? Any in particular you'd want to go for? And do you have any of these already? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoy the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, you'd like to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you in the community. And finally, check out my friends at GamerAdvantage for the best blue light glasses on the market, but more on them in a bit. For now, let's talk about the exclusive blueprints of Modern Warfare 2. So let's start simple. Let's start with the ones that have been around for a decent bit, but do require you to do a little bit to get them. Firstly, let's talk about the Union Guard M4. This one outfitted with the AIM-OP V4 optic, the SZ 1mW PEQ laser, the 11.5-inch TH4 barrel, the FSS Covert V muzzle, and the Lockwood Precision 40 grip is a build that tries to balance some precision as well as aim down sight speeds in those attachments used, but it's something you don't get from multiplayer or any bundle like that. Instead, this actually comes from the campaign, our one and only blueprint from the campaign for completing the campaign. So you do get rewards across the board for completing every single mission within Modern Warfare 2, which is a nice little incentive here. If you haven't played the campaign, would highly recommend it. The storyline is actually really good, but if you're someone that likes to get free stuff for just simply playing, it does reward you along the way. Now, when you complete the campaign on any difficulty, this is the blueprint you end up getting. So not half bad for experiencing the story of Modern Warfare 2. Now, that is a campaign exclusive, but we also do have one multiplayer exclusive we can talk about beyond things like bundles and everything like that. For multiplayer, the Vertex Drive 5.56 Icarus LMG is also available. This one, you don't really have to do a whole ton. You don't have any in-depth grind or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. All you have to do to earn this is reach level 250, which may be unfortunate because it is all 5 prestiges of Season 1, whereas in the past 2 years, it was just simply Prestige 1, level 50 in Cold War and Vanguard, but still max level in Modern Warfare 2019, 155, so 100 levels there. But if you've achieved a level 250, you'll have that Vertex Drive blueprint. This is a relatively basic one. It's got a more simplistic design, but it's the Icarus receiver, the Cronin mini red dot for some precision, and the FTAC SB barrel to increase aim down sight speed and hip recoil control. A bit more mobile of a build, and also one that's a bit more bare bones, but a blueprint you get no less for simply just reaching max level as of this season. Presumably, we're going to see one with the upcoming further seasons as well, 2, 3, 4, and 5, where reaching level 250 will give us another blueprint. So going into the future, you have more to look forward to. Now, interestingly enough, we actually have a handful of blueprints that are exclusive and pretty cool looking across Spec Ops as well as Warzone and DMZ. So jumping into the Spec Ops side of things here, let's start with the more recent ones of these, that being rewards specific to the raid Atom Grade. So for this, the first one you can end up getting is the Enforcer Kastov 762. This is a random drop from completing the Atom Grade raid, one of a few random drops, others including a Price and Gaz loading screen, Eye on the Prize emblem, Gaz emblem, Forest Price player card, and a Gaz's Gaze player card, on top of the Gaz Convoy operator skin for completing the raid once, and the Grass Ops operator skin if you bought the bundle and completed the raid. But you get the 762 blueprint in one of those randomly. That build comes with the IG K30 406mm barrel for recoil control and bullet velocity, the FR Titan silencer for sound suppression and recoil smoothness, the Bruin tilt grip for hip fire accuracy, hip recoil control, and aim walking steadiness, the FTAC Elite stock for recoil control, and the AIM-OP V4 optic. Not a terrible build, but aesthetically, there's not much to it. And speaking of aesthetically nothing really being there, you also have associated with the raid the Punchline Bryson 800. This one is obtained by completing the raid on veteran difficulty for a slightly dirtied Bryson. As far as I know, it also doesn't have any attachments as listed on builds that I've seen, but perhaps I'm wrong on that one. But this is acquired by simply, or rather not so simply again, completing that raid on veteran difficulty, unlocked once that raid is beaten once, so requiring at least a second playthrough at the minimum to get this blueprint. Doing so will again guarantee you this reward as opposed to the first regular playthroughs, and on the standard difficulties, it's on a random cycle to get that blueprint. Completing it on veteran will guarantee you that Punchline Bryson. Now, beyond that, we also in regular Spec Ops have 2 exclusive blueprints. Firstly, the Brass Section Basilisk. This one, again, in the normal Spec Ops experience, is something that tasks you with collecting all intel fragments in Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops missions, making it somewhat of a grind, but with plenty of intel guides out there, you probably would be able to breeze through it, perhaps. But this is going to take some time if you're interested in it. Doable, just tedious, kind of like the camo grind this year, but nowhere near that length of the camo grind. The brass section blueprint comes along with the Basilisk grip laser for hipfire accuracy and hip recoil control, the F-Tac Carnivora 7-inch barrel for recoil control and bullet velocity, the Basilisk HT7 trigger for aiming stability, sprint to fire speed, and aim down sight speed, the S40 rapid loader for faster aiming and movement speed, and the Bryson WD-85 grip for recoil control. Not a bad build for the Basilisk, and the blueprint itself is a nice metallic finish to it, so it's got some nice visual appeal. And the last Spec Ops blueprint we'll talk about is the Rebel Kastov 762. This one's awarded to players for collecting 100 stars in co-op, earning them through playtime and completions. Obviously, the better finishes, the more stars you end up getting, but it's a grind no less. The blueprint is outfitted to be a worn variation of the 762 as if it was an AQ armory weapon, with the Alcatala insignia on the stock and hand-painted yellow stripes. So if it's worth it or not, that's up to you, but it does look kind of cool. 100 stars worth though? Again, personal preference. This one comes along with the monocle CT90 optic for precision sights, the Cast 10 584mm barrel for damage range, bullet velocity, hipfire accuracy, and recoil control, the 40-round mag for naturally more ammunition, and the Ivanov wood stock for further aiming stability. So again, if it's worth the 100-star grind for you, go for it. But before we move on to our final discussion of blueprints here and the rest of what we've got on deck across Warzone and DMZ exclusive blueprints, I want to take a second and discuss GamerAdvantage with you. You've probably heard the pitch at least once, maybe more, but GamerAdvantage has the best blue light glasses on the market. This whole YouTube thing that I do, it's a lot more boring than a lot of people may expect it to be, where truthfully my day is like roughly 7 to 10 hours looking at a monitor, maybe more depending on if I'm playing and recording and stuff. So I've had to deal with the effects of blue light for a decade now. Perhaps you're like me, looking at a monitor at work, gaming a ton, or using any sort of screen for prolonged periods of time, but having used them for just about 2 years now, I can confidently say that they are the best pair of blue light glasses that I've had, and probably the biggest help to my daily productivity. I won't lie, they are a bit of an investment as opposed to some of the ones you can find on Amazon, but I've been there. I've used just about every single pair you can find on Amazon, and GamerAdvantage is head and shoulders above those ones. The science, the breakdown, all of that is well out of the realm of my ability to relay that effectively. So if you'd like to learn the science, the clinical studies and all, their website is linked below. If you'd like to pick anything up for yourself or anyone you know, you can use code Espresso to get 10% off your entire order. So check the link if you guys would like to. But for now, let's get back to the blueprints. So rounding out this video here, talking about these blueprints, I want to touch on Warzone and DMZ exclusive blueprints. Firstly, the Alabaster or Phantom's Call Vaznev 9K. So this one's a really weird one because we said two names and neither of them are wrong. You might have one under that name or the other, but they're the same blueprint. It seems like the name was changed with mid-season for some people, but this Vaznev blueprint is available to those who enter into a black site in Warzone and take out an HVT, that being the juggernaut that patrols the building that you end up having to go. So you have to first clear a stronghold, then get the black site key, go to the black site, clear out all the AI, and then take out the HVT, that juggernaut with a minigun that will try to shred through you. And he absolutely can, so be careful. It's super helpful to clear a black site as is in-game. You get plenty of in-game items, but also in Battle Royale, you get that constant ping of the UAV on that black site, and it lasts the duration of the game, if I'm not mistaken, and its radius is way bigger than that of the standard UAV. But again, you also get a nifty blueprint for doing so the first time. Honestly, this is way easier than it seems if you have a squad of 2 to 3 other players, and the blueprint itself actually isn't half bad either. It comes with the F-Tac Grimline laser for added hip recoil control, hip fire accuracy, and sprint to fire speed, the EXF Huntress 90 muzzle for sound suppression, bullet velocity, recoil smoothness, and recoil control, the Bruin Warrior grip for hip fire accuracy, hip recoil control, aim walking steadiness, and recoil control, and the VLK stockless for aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. So the build itself isn't bad. One thing to consider, along with a lot of these other blueprints you'll see, not only just exclusive, but throughout the battle pass, throughout bundles, is that these are pro-tuned, so at least for the time being, you'll encounter that inability to check the tuning values without resetting everything. But not a bad blueprint, looks pretty cool also. Then you have the Caution Tape RPK. This one is DMZ exclusive, and it's tethered to the rewards of the weapon cases that you can find and extract in DMZ. Now, these are kind of a pain to do, but they're high risk, high reward in some cases. Once you end up picking up the case, you're marked on the TAC map with every player on the DMZ knowing where you are until you extract. This can either be easy and you breeze out of there, or incredibly hard. I wish that I had the footage here of it, but there was a scenario where my squad was doing this, and we just had team after team after team challenges. I'm usually the guy that records quite literally everything. I wish I was joking. I have about like 25 to 30 terabytes of games saved across the years, going back all the way to like Black Ops 2, where it's that mentality of, well, maybe I'll use it again. And it does come in handy for like retrospective videos, but somehow being that guy, I didn't record that engagement. I don't have that gameplay anywhere. Really bummed about that. But anyways, in Al Mazrah, if you exfil with the first weapon case, you'll be rewarded with the Caution Tape RPK. This comes along with the TAC 597 barrel for damage range, hip fire accuracy, movement speed, and bullet velocity, the 7.62 incendiary rounds for incendiary damage and additional vehicle damage, the FTAC Elite stock for the recoil control, and then the VLK 4.0 optic for the 4x magnification scope and precision aiming. The build itself is actually pretty solid, and the blueprint design is probably one of the best of all the blueprints we've discussed here in this video, so I'd recommend this. And the nice part about this blueprint is that it's the first in line of the rewards you get from extracting weapon cases in Al Mazrah, or at least that's how it is to my knowledge, where this is the first of 7 rewards, the others including the biohazard weapon sticker, the jungle incognito vehicle skin, the gas weapon charm, a weapon crate calling card, a weapon crate emblem, and finally, collecting all of them will get you the biohazard Koenig operator skin. So nice that you don't have to extract all 7 cases to get the blueprint, but that's unfortunately not the case for the next one, that being the Silver Tox Chimera. This, right now at least, is probably what I would say is the toughest of blueprints to achieve in terms of rewards. This is another weapon case extraction reward from DMZ, but for building 21, and it's the final reward in the succession of cases, meaning that you have to not only extract a weapon case from building 21, which is hot as is, but you have to do it 6 times and in a limited time. Building 21, as we've mentioned, is only available for like 24 to 48 hours at a time, and then goes offline for another 3 days or so. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of rhyme or reason for the gap in between when it's live and when it's not, just yet at least, but you have all those factors and it makes it just incredibly hard and tedious to end up getting this. So unless you grind it all out in 1 or 2 days, it might not be something you get for a little while. But personally, it's one that I'm looking forward to getting myself, because as a completionist, especially for camos and blueprints, I apparently love to torture myself for these. But the Silver Tox, again, might be the coolest looking blueprint design from what we've seen. I've seen it also when people do end up getting it, that right now it's bugged out where it just showcases the regular Chimera in game, but when fixed out, it has promised to look pretty sharp. The given build comes along with the 7mW canted laser for that aiming stability, ADS speed, and sprint to fire speed, but again, without the ability to actually aim down sight, you have that canted laser aiming instead. You have the demo firm grip for aiming idle stability, hip fire accuracy, and recoil stabilization. The 300 blackout round over pressured rounds for that target flinch. Then you have the 20 round magazine, which is kind of a bummer because of course you sacrifice ammunition, makes you a bit more speedier to the shot, but it is something that it's not great for most engagements. But that magazine, that accented red mag, is so cool, so it's just one of those things that you don't want to take it off and lose it. Then you finally close out with the D37 grip for added recoil control. Honestly, I think one of the coolest looking blueprints. Again, only bummer is that magazine that you'd probably lose out on that, but honestly an awesome reward. Just pretty tough to get. And finally, the last blueprint we'll talk about is one that we've saved for the end because we're going to have an asterisk on this one, that being the Health Hazard M13B. This one, once again, being a DMZ exclusive blueprint, but you might be familiar with this one because if you have the M13B, you may have defeated the chemist to do so before extracting. That's the blueprint you end up getting with this. Now, what's odd is that you get this blueprint from the chemist, but it doesn't really amount to anything. When you extract, it doesn't get kept on your account outside of DMZ, or so was the case when I had it. It seems like it still is the case. So you have it in DMZ as a contraband weapon, but it's actually not something that transfers over to regular MP, which is a bummer because it's actually such a cool blueprint. It looks awesome. For this build, though, it comes to the oddball of 6 attachments, which is why I'm guessing it's not an MP right now, because it comes with a VLK laser 7mW, which adds aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and sprint to fire speed, the 14-inch Bruin Echelon barrel for damage range, bullet velocity, hip fire accuracy, and recoil control, the SPW 40mm underbarrel for a grenade launcher, the 60-round mag for added ammunition, the TRX 56 stock, which doesn't actually exist, and then the Cronin 0P optic for 5x magnification. So hopefully this is something that gets sorted out. Seems like maybe just you have to remove that stock that doesn't actually exist and we may be good, but that's, I think, the coolest blueprint you can end up getting in Warzone and DMZ, and unfortunately, it just can't actually transfer it over outside of that. So that said, that's 10 exclusive blueprints and how you obtain them here in Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. And I am fully aware that, yes, there are additional blueprints associated with specific DMZ missions, but in the interest of time, this is already something that is a little bit longer, and in the interest of accessibility, because not many people will go into tier 3, 4, and 5 of each faction to end up getting every single one of these, we're going to keep leave it at a top level for right now. Maybe we'll revisit it and talk about all the DMZ blueprints or something like that later on down the line, but for right now, that's 10 exclusive blueprints and how you can obtain them in Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. So that's what we're gonna call it. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down below. Do you have any of these? Are you looking forward to grabbing any for yourself? Whatever the case, drop it down below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and anything COD related. For now though, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.